We all want to think of love as something that is pure and selfless, unconditional, transcendent. But anyone who's ever been in a relationship knows that love is rarely ever that simple. You see, oftentimes it's entangled in need, in fear, and in a quiet desperation to be needed just as much as we need. This is the territory of codependency. It's a relational dynamic that is so intense that it often disguises itself as devotion. Codependency isn't just about being clingy or needy. It's a pattern of losing ourselves in the act of taking care of someone else, of deriving worth from another's dependency on us, of mistaking sacrifice for love. And while it can emerge in any relationship, it's really rooted in how entangled we are with our attachment style. And that is the blueprint we carry from our childhood into every bond we form. If we want to understand why we love the way we do, why some of us chase and some of us run away, and some of us cling until our hands hurt and bleed, we have to look at how codependency manifests itself across the 4 attachment styles. There is the secure attachment, the anxious avoidant, and the anxious attachment, the avoidant attachment, and the fearful avoidant, which we sometimes call the disorganized. This isn't just about diagnosing a dysfunction. It's about validation, recognizing that these patterns didn't just emerge from nowhere. It's about education, seeing how early experiences can shape our adult behavior. And it is about empathy for ourselves and for others, because almost no one chooses their attachment wounds. They just live with them until it becomes so difficult that we don't. The secure attachment is the gold standard, the style that makes healthy relationships look effortless. Securely attached people, well, they're just comfortable with intimacy. They communicate their needs clearly, and they don't rely on others for their sense of worth. But here's the thing. Even secure people can slip into codependency. Let's talk a little bit about how that shows up. Over-responsibility. A secure attached person might take on too much emotional labor, not because they fear abandonment, but because they assume others will reciprocate. We often mirror what we think others will mirror back to us. And they're often slow to recognize when that person isn't. The fixer mentality. They may believe that with enough love and patience, that they can heal a partner with insecure attachment. And that blurs the line between support and enabling. They can also have that martyr trap. Because they're naturally giving, they may tolerate one-sided relationships longer than they should, mistaken endurance for virtue. However, they will eventually leave instead of waiting for the relationship to fall apart. Let's take this case study. A caretaker who burns out, right? Let's take Sarah, a therapist who prided herself on being the stable one in her relationships. She dated Mark, who's got an avoidant attachment style. He's an artist who struggled with commitment. At first, she saw that his hesitation as a puzzle to solve. If she just gave him enough time, maybe he'll come around, maybe he'll open up. But after 2 years of this, she started to notice that there was uneven effort. She was being too patient, too tolerable of his behavior. And she thought that, well, maybe this is the time to walk away. Because what I'm really doing is I'm avoiding my loneliness to facilitate his needs. How do you balance this out? Secure individuals have the advantage of a sturdy foundation. Their task is to recognize when they are overgiving. If they're always the giver, who's going to give to you? And you have to be able to set boundaries without any guilt. Because love shouldn't mean that you are going to erase yourself. Love is not a project. You can't heal someone who doesn't want to be healed. The anxiously attached is a different attachment that we deal with. And how does this show up as codependency? Well, if they had to be a mascot, if codependency had a mascot, it would be the anxiously attached. For them, it's a survival strategy. An anxious attached person forms when the caregiver was inconsistent. Sometimes love was there and sometimes it was absent. The child learns that if I just hold on tight enough, maybe they'll stay. This is how codependency will show up for someone who's got an anxious attachment style. They're hypervigilant. They read into texts, tone, silence, like they're a detective solving a mystery. They want to know, does this person still love me? Are they into me? Are they losing interest? They mold themselves into what they believe their partner will want or their partner will need, and they forget their own identity in the process. They also have protest behaviors. So they're going to withdraw so that they could provoke some sort of attention from their partner. If I stay away, they're going to come in. There's also a fantasy bond, confusing intensity for intimacy, mistaking drama for passion. Let's take another case study. Jake, 32 years old, he's a teacher. He described his last relationship like, I'd analyze every word she said. If she didn't text back fast enough, I would spiral. I would cancel plans with friends just in case she wanted to see me. By the end, I didn't even know what I liked anymore. I just wanted her to need me as much as I needed her. His girlfriend, overwhelmed, left abruptly. Jake's reaction? I begged, I promised to change, but the more I chase, the more she ran. What is the path back to balance? An anxious attached person. Well, you want to learn that love is not something that you do. Be extracted through sheer effort. And healing involves self-soothing. You want to develop ways to calm your nervous system without the external validation. You want to try to reclaim your identity. What did you love before the relationship? Who are you outside of it? The relationship isn't you. Practice secure attached behaviors. Communicate your needs directly, not through protest or manipulation. Learn to be grounded. Now, let's talk a little bit about the avoidantly attached person. An avoidant attachment is the flip side of the anxious attachment, where the anxious attached person fears abandonment. The avoidant attached person fears being engulfed, suffocated. Their childhood lesson is depending on others is dangerous. But here is the paradox. An avoidant can be codependent too. Their version just kind of looks a little different. How does codependency show up for someone who's got an avoidant attachment style? There is an illusion of independence. They may pride themselves on not needing anyone, but their relationships often follow this push and pull dynamic, getting close and then retreating. The emotional labor of avoidance is that they may rely on their partners to handle intimacy while staying just a little detached, enough so to feel safe. There is secret resentment. They might comply with what that partner needs while quietly building anger and creating this passive-aggressive imbalance. Then there's the backup partner. Some avoidants will keep emotional or physical backups to ensure that they never fully invest in one person. Let's take another case study. Lena, a successful lawyer, described her dating pattern as, I would get interested, but then the second things started to get serious, I'd freak out. I dated a guy for 4 years, but never let him spend the night. I told myself that I was private, but really, I was terrified of needing him. When he finally left, she was devastated, not because she missed him, but because, you won't believe it, she missed the option of him. How do we find a path back to balance? Avoidant attached people must confront the lie that their dependency is a weakness. You want to start tolerating closeness. Practice staying present when intimacy arises, not trying to run away. You want to express your needs. Start small. I missed you today. That is a revolutionary sentence for an avoidant attached person. You want to examine your childhood wounds as well. Did you learn that love means to be controlled? Needing someone means losing yourself? It's not. Rewire that brain. Now let's look at the fearful avoidant attached, who's also known as disorganized. The fearful avoidant attachment style is the most complex. It's a mix of an anxious and avoidant attached person. These individuals often had caregivers who were both a source of fear and their only source of comfort. Their result is a deep ambivalence towards love means I need you and I don't trust you. So how does codependency show up? How does this hot-cold behavior that we know so very well? Well, that is because they crave closeness, but they can panic when they get too close. And this leads to the chaotic relationships that most people struggle with. There's a trauma bond. So they might be drawn to unstable partners, reenacting old wounds, on an unconscious attempt to fix the past. They self-sabotage. They push love away while desperately wanting to hold on to it. And this creates that cycle of isolation and then regret and then chasing. There is a disassociation with intimacy. They may check out emotionally or physically during vulnerable moments. Case study. Ryan is a musician with a history of up and down relationships. He told me, every time someone got close, I either clung on to them or I disappeared. Once I broke up with someone because they remembered my coffee order, it felt too intimate, like they were getting inside of my head, and that didn't feel comfortable. His relationships followed a pattern of I would chase someone until they loved me, and then I would start to feel trapped. Or I'd stay with people who treated me badly, because at least that felt familiar. How do we find a path back to balance? Fearful avoidant attached people often need trauma-informed therapy to untangle their wiring. Some of the steps: you want to regulate your nervous system. Yoga, EMDR, or somatic therapy can help. Breaking a trauma bond cycle, learning that love doesn't have to hurt. You want to practice consistency, allowing safe relationships to feel boring, but knowing that safety isn't supposed to feel like adrenaline. It is quiet. You want to break the cycle. You just don't want to live through life like this for the rest of your days. Codependency isn't a life sentence. It's a habit. And habits can be changed. We can even change personalities. The goal here isn't total independence. You want to be independent, but also dependent. Interdependence is your way forward. How do you do this? Recognize the pattern, name your attachment style, notice when you're slipping into old roles, practice boundaries, saying, no, this is not a betrayal, it's integrity. You want to reparent yourself, give yourself what you didn't get as a child. You want to learn that consistency, safety, unconditional regard is important and should be chosen. You want to choose secure relationships, not only because it's safe for you, but it's a deeper connection that's going to benefit you in the long run. A healthy relationship isn't about two halves making a whole. It's about two wholes choosing to walk together, two people who are healed and whole walking together. If you see yourself in these patterns, be gentle. These behaviors were once adaptations that kept you safe, but you're not that helpless child anymore. You can love without losing yourself. You can be needed without being used. You can be boring and belong to someone without disappearing. That's not just growth. That is freedom. Your attachment style can be healed, but first you've got to be able to recognize it, appreciate it, be gentle with yourself, know that healing is possible, and it's your choice to make. You get to choose what you want your life to look like. Do you want to keep choosing the old version of you that stayed in a place of pain and hurt? Or are you ready to choose this new version that you've always dreamed of being? Are you ready to take that leap from the old you into the new version? A version that's already prepared and awaiting for you. And live the rest of your life in a peaceful, happy, secure relationship. The choice is yours. Follow me here and across social media for Attachment Style Simplified and for your healing journey. Until next time, I'm Annalisa Bahadur.